You have to keep getting the next high. You have to keep going after the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing. Fulfilling something that is only trying to replace something that you're using that is only temporal. And our attempt at fixing ourselves always comes with side effects. All of mankind's woes are produced as a result of being separated from God, and the only hope for our condition is to accept the cure provided by God Himself. And that is His one and only Son. Well, you may say here today, I know I'm looking at mostly people here today that have confessed Jesus Christ as their Savior. And you say, well, this message doesn't apply to me today. This message applies as much to you and I as it applies to someone who came in here with no knowledge of Jesus Christ. Because when we fill our lives with things, see, we get good at our Christianity. The longer we go to church, Christian, me and you had this conversation a while back. We get good at this Christian thing. We know what to say, how to act, how to talk. We start picking up Christian lingo. We know how to fill our day with just enough to get by. We know how to do the Christian thing. And we start filling our lives with empty things that temporarily fill holes and voids in our lives that were never meant to be there, that only God can fill. And we still continue to call ourselves Christians while there's no pursuit of Him. We continue to call ourselves followers of Christ when there's no following going on. There's no pursuit of Him. Because here's what happens. The more you follow Jesus, the more you die to self. The closer you get to Jesus, the more you begin to look like Him. The more you begin to look like Him, the less you begin to look like yourself. Things begin to fall off. Things begin to die. You begin to sacrifice things. And when the Christian, when the believer quits pursuing Christ, we're no longer a follower of Christ. We're a believer, but we're not a follower. Jesus called for a radical kind of following, a radical kind of commitment that a person would give everything to the pursuit of Him. See, in Adam's day, there was nothing to distract him until Satan came and introduced a distraction. There was nothing else Adam wanted. There was nothing else Adam needed. There was nothing else Adam desired. Imagine, put yourself in his place, Dave. You're in the Garden of Eden. Perfected paradise. And you know God's coming to visit soon. I mean, how would you respond? What would you think if God was getting ready to show up? Now, no man, because of our sinful nature, we all know, I don't want to give a false thing here that God will reveal Himself and we'll see Him, because God told Moses, no man can see me and live, right? Because Moses said, okay, I want to see you, God. He said, no, you can't, because it'll kill you, right? So, I'm not saying God's going to show up in the flesh at your house, but if He were, if you knew that when you got home today, when you got settled and you got yourself relaxed and got your stuff put away, that God was going to descend into your living room and talk to you. I'm just going to tell you, quit listening to me, get home, right? I mean, you'd be excited about, imagine what he got to experience, knowing, hey, God's going to be here soon. We're going to talk. We're going to take a walk. He's going to tell me a little bit more about Himself and why He created the lion and what the ocean's all about. He's going to tell me all this stuff, and He's going to reveal more to me, and I just can't wait. See, that's God's intent. That's God's intent. He wants to reveal Himself to us. He doesn't want to be a hidden, far-off God. He wants us to know Him. But our sinful behavior is what keeps that from happening. You see, all of our attempts at attaining happiness, joy, fulfillment, goodness, pleasure in this life on our own are in vain. We end up treating only our symptoms with frustrating side effects. We can pursue happiness, pleasure, freedom, financial gain, meaningful relationships, love, and even religion. But none of these things cures our condition, restores us to God. Only Jesus can do this. He alone is the true source of life. Jesus alone is the true source of life. So then we have to ask ourselves, are we in relationship with Him? And that's a question that all of us, including myself, need to ask ourselves today. Are we in that relationship the way He intends? Not just have we confessed, and not just have we taken on His name, but are we in pursuit of Him? Now, I don't like to talk about myself much. I know you've heard me say that before, and it's true, because I don't like the spotlight to be on me. I want the spotlight to be on Christ. And I don't want it to say, hey, look at me, pat myself in the back, I've done this and I'm so good. No, because I'm a sinner in need of grace. But this message is as much to me today as it is to anyone else, because in my pursuit of God, I got tired of just going to church. I shared that with you guys recently, that if all I ever do is just show up, I'm going to be done with church as the pastor. I told you that. I'm tired of just going to church. I want to be the church. I'm tired of just showing up on Sunday. I want to experience God when I step in this place. And so in my desire and my hunger, my renewed hunger for Him, I began to say, all right, God, I know I'm not going to like the answer to this. I know this is a dangerous prayer, but You see my heart, God. Whatever it takes, do whatever You've got to do in me. Show me whatever's got to go. Whatever has to happen in my life, I want to be hungry for Your word again. I want to devour Your word again. I want to be desperate to hear from You and get in Your word and seek You for revelation. I want to hear Your voice again. I want to know You so intimately that it goes beyond human reason, to human understanding the way I experience You. I want that again in my life, God, so do what You have to do. And God began to show me things that needed to go in my life. Time stealers. Things that took my attention. Things that were taking time and resources from me that I could have been given to Him in the pursuit of Him. And it was painful, and I deleted some things from my phone, and time stealers, and I changed the way I spent some of my time, and changed the way I was behaving and functioning so that my priority and my passion would once again be Him. So this message is for all of us here today. No matter where you are in the spectrum of spirituality, no matter where you are in your relationship or your journey to know God, this message is for you today. This message is for me. Yes, it's a clear presentation of the gospel, but it's the simple things that you and I forget sometimes. We get so caught up in the pursuit of being a good Christian that we forget that it's not about that. It's about the pursuit of God Himself. That's His intent for man. And I'm going to close with this. God designed us to know Him and to be in intimate relationship with Him. That is His intent for mankind. So then we have to ask ourselves, are we living as God intended? I've shared this with you before, and I'm going to share it with you again. I should have put it up on the overhead. I didn't. But I'm going to share this with you again. If you want to see what's most important in your life, if you want something like a compass to point to what matters to most to you in your life, do a self-evaluation and look at where you spend your time, your money, and your energy. And that will point to what is most valuable to you. Does that mean I shouldn't spend on my time on anything but God? No. Does that mean I shouldn't spend my money on anything but God? No. Does that mean I shouldn't spend my energy on anything but God? No. Because many of us have to get up and go to work, and we have to live jobs, and we have families to take care of, and we have things to do, and we have bills to pay. Try telling the electric company that, I'm not going to pay y'all because I don't see that as a godly thing, and I don't see that as promoting the kingdom, so I'm just not going to pay y'all. See how long they leave your lights on. So let's not be stupid about it, right? No. But let's look at the value that we place on the things we spend our time on, the things we spend our money on, the things we spend our energy on, and that will tell us what we care about most, what has the highest place in our life. Recently, for me, there were some things, how I spent my time, that made it very clear. Now, get ready to... But it made it very clear that even, yes, in my life, the pursuit of God and a relationship with Him was not what was most important to me. And it was sobering. And it woke me up. And I thought, what is wrong with me? How can I place such things in higher importance than Jesus? But I had. It was plain as day to me. And it made me say, okay, there has to be changes. So are you living according to God's intent for you today? Bow your heads, if you would, please.